Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, May 9th. Let's get my news calendar up to date here. Computer just actually restarted a little while ago, so it's kind of catching itself up here. Let's see what we have today. We have some releases here at 10. We have a Fed member at 4:15. I don't think that this should be the cause of any type of choppiness. That's not to say that we can't be choppy, but pretty clear sailing in my opinion for the open of the day today. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday, and more particularly overnight. Kind of get a feel for. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. All right, let's adjust our levels and let's see. So yesterday we closed, should be right around here. Okay, so here's yesterday's close. So we are neutral overnight, just about equal amount of trading above and below yesterday's close. So we won't be using that for any type of information today. Let's adjust our levels. So yesterday's VPOC, yesterday's value area low, yesterday's value area high. Overnight VPOC, and let's find our overnight low, overnight high. Okay. Perfect. So let's get this. I also want this to be green on this indicator, the ladder here, this depth of market. I don't, for whatever reason, this particular indicator, no matter how many times you change this and no matter how many times you set this as a default, it changes back. No big deal. I think we still have plenty of time to do both our oil and S&P homework. I'm also going to readjust this to also be green or lime. Just makes it a little easier for me to distinguish at the inside market. All right, let's bring in our hourly chart here for crude. And let's take a look at what happened here. Did we breach any levels that need to come off the chart? So I'm actually going to leave on this swing level here, which coincides with yesterday's VPOC, and this swing level up here, because although we tested them both, we really never traded through them and held, and we didn't trade through them in both directions. So I'm going to leave those on there. I'm going to add a reference to yesterday's high, and I'm going to add a reference to yesterday's low. Okay, so we got that for oil. Let's just get a little bit of a better view, see what we've got going on. Definitely, currently in a downtrend in oil all the way back from 54.08, 54.09, wherever that was, to the current low of about 45.25. So let's go back and start doing some homework. Okay. So in case you don't remember, I went back yesterday. Oh, I wonder if that chart stayed on here. Probably not, since the computer reset itself. No. Okay. I went back yesterday a whole other year to find levels beneath us. And I'm going to have to go back further than that, which was my intention this morning, but lost a little bit of time. So for now, we'll draw out what we have. Certainly, we have enough information for this morning. Let's see where we're currently trading. 46.31. Okay, so we're going to give ourselves That's plenty of room to both directions. Might be too much, actually. 46, 31 puts us right around here, right in the middle. Okay. All right, so Hypo 1, we see that we are currently trading near overnight low. We are inside yesterday's value, inside yesterday's range. What I'd like to see for Hypo 1 would be a push up, a test of yesterday's value area high, overnight VPOC, a turn down to get through overnight low, and ultimately come and test yesterday's VPOC value area low and low of day. I really do want to see if we can get below there and hold resistance, see if we can't ultimately make our way down towards this current swing low before getting into levels that we have not touched for over a year. This is going to be Hypo 1. Okay. Hypo 2 is going to be a push down, test of overnight low, possibly test of VPOC value area low of yesterday, but then a turn back up and making our way up towards overnight high, previous swing high at this 46.80, maybe even a little bit further. And actually, this move could, if we can get into this gap zone here. If you look back here, we had a gap right here between this low and this high. We have this gap. So if we can push into that gap zone and we hold support here, then I would expect us to close that, and that's going to be Hypo 2. And thirdly, let's do open, push down, and this one basically the idea is what happens if we can get down to this low here. If we can break below it, are we going to skid all the way down below 45? And I certainly think that's a possibility if we see that kind of momentum start pushing down that way. So that's going to be Hypo 3. Okay, that's going to be it for oil. Let's get this out of the way. And let's take a look at the S&P. And okay. So we see we had not yet broken. If you remember, we talked yesterday about how generally all-time highs are not kept from overnight. So we set that overnight yesterday. We did not go back up to test it during the day yesterday, and we are now again pushing up in the overnight session. So let's adjust our levels to show yesterday's information. Why do I feel like I'm missing things here? That's because I am. Okay, hang on. Okay. I'm just grabbing the levels off of my other chart here. So you'll see them show up now, value area low. There we go. So that we also need overnight. Okay. And overnight low. All right, so inventory, we are net long right now. So what I will be looking for today is the same thing I was looking for yesterday, and that's going to be pullbacks into an opportunity to go long. In our trading time yesterday, didn't really get the setup we were waiting for on the S&P, so we didn't get any trades. It did ultimately set up back here, but weren't, I'm not in front of the screen at that time, and I can't say for sure that if I was, I can't say for certain that I would have seen or taken the trades that do look like they set up here. But we will we'll look into that for today again. Okay, so let's bring in our hourly chart. And again, if you remember, we talked yesterday that I was going to consider extending this micro composite. I was going to consider extending this out if we turned back down and came and traded into that range. That has not happened. So we're going to leave the micro composite exactly where it is. And now we're going to put in some ideas of today's hypothesis. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. I'm pulling off some former VPOCs that I had on here that were naked, meaning after they were created, after a day's session ended, and we knew what the VPOC was, that VPOC wasn't again touched until a later date, which is what. So this here is a naked VPOC. So right here, this VPOC is created, and now we see these red dots stretch out horizontally, and they will continue to stretch out until they're touched. Okay, so any levels that need to come off from yesterday? Looks like one does. Looks like two do. So this will be pushed down. I don't need that anymore. And in order to get this one, I got to stretch it out a little. This will get pushed up. Okay. So we have yesterday's high, low, value area low, VPOC, value area high, overnight low. You know what I don't have? I don't have overnight VPOC. So let's get that. Let's at least bring it closer for me to be able to use. Okay. Let's see where we're currently trading. 98 quarter. Okay, so I don't have much to show you to the top side. We're just going to draw one out to see what we can look for as far as buy opportunities. I will not be looking to go short at all. So basically, I'm sorry, that's not fair. In order for me to even consider a short trade, and it seems like my overnight high needs to be adjusted. Yeah, this. Okay. So we are currently sitting at yesterday's high. So we're trading right around the edge of yesterday's range, certainly outside of yesterday's value. I mean, the only type of short setup I can envision happening for me would be something along the lines of this. This type of failure, or that type of failure where we show real clear resistance at the overnight high or real clear resistance at yesterday's high if we break into yesterday's range. But that's not what I'm most interested in. What I am looking for are going to be the opportunities to go long near value area high, VPOC, overnight VPOC. This is really what I'm watching for. I'm looking for my first decent buy opportunity, but preferably down in these areas. I'm not all that interested in trying to go long in this big void here. So this is the only thing I got for you for the S&P today. Looking to find opportunities to buy pullbacks, and I'd like to protect myself with one of the levels. So I don't just want to buy any pullback. Okay, so we have about 7.5 minutes. I will pause the video and I'll turn it back on as we get closer to the open. All right, so we just had the open here, and oil is immediately testing its overnight low. We continue to push down. We do have positive divergence here at the overnight low, so we are going to be looking for a long. Might have actually just missed it. Take a second here. Take a trade here, and I am going to be willing to scale in. I will be willing to scale in if we come and retest this overnight low. Putting my profit target a few ticks ahead of yesterday's value area low. Now, mind you, again, when I'm in one contract, I treat it as a hybrid, whereas it's not automatically a 10-tick profit target, and I don't treat it as an absolute runner. It's kind of an in-between. So when we get up to that near 10-tick profit target, I will certainly be paying attention and looking for other opportunities to, or reasons to potentially get out of the trade. And let's put an order in here. Okay. So we're taking this position based on the positive divergence as we come and test the overnight low. So we're going to watch this order flow here. We're going to see if we start trading the offer as we are now. But as we're doing that, contracts are being added to the offer. Not a great sign for us. Okay, so still willing to add on. We still have the BBs showing positive divergence. Have not really seen any buying step in, so we might be in trouble here. But this last add-on, we use that as a really good risk to reward opportunity. Didn't quite get down far enough for us. And we see buyers trying to come in on the bid, trying to get some strength here, but right now that's not helping. Sellers are continuing to come low offer, and they're not leaving when we trade the offers. So let's see here. That was a good one. Sellers came right back down. See, again, we see buyers trying to take control down here at this 46.16 level, but there again, sellers dominated. Buyers again stepped in. Now we just need to see if buyers can get a push here. And now that we have two contracts, we are going to treat the first one as a strict 10-tick profit target, and then the second one we will look for a reasonable exit point. Actually, we'll probably go right around value area low here. So I'm not, we certainly do see that we are in a downtrend from this last move from overnight. And just to squeeze this in, that's pretty much consolidation. So really nothing there as far as information. Right now, again, if we've got this trade on based on positive divergence. Sorry that this got confusing. Let me set this back up for you. We took this trade based on positive divergence as we tested the overnight low. We scaled in to improve our position, and now we're watching to see if we can't actually get some momentum to the upside. But that is not quite yet happening. So need to also be very careful here, watching the order flow. If we feel as if it's not going in our way, or we see something to tell us that it might not be a valid position, then we are always willing to close part of or all of our trade. And sellers are absolutely making it tough up here. Everything we've seen so far in the morning from order flow only definitely is sellers dominating buyers. Obviously, we're going to need to see that change in order for this trade to go our way. As for price action and as for our indicators, we do have reason to believe that this attempt here to push lower in the morning can be rejected and have price bounce back up based on the positive divergence on the BBs, based on the fact that it's happening at an overnight low. Now we just need order flow to get on our side. We need to see sellers allow price to lift up. We need to see buyers get a little bit more aggressive and start hitting these offers and not just look to trade on the bid. And that's what it's going to take in order for us to see a move upwards. S&P has come down off the overnight high. I'd like to see that pull back a bit more before the open. That would be great. Now, I don't necessarily know that I would scale further into this position based on, what's the BBs have. We're not really getting great positive divergence from this swing low. So if we were to turn down now, although we would still show positive divergence from back here, most likely, it would be a little bit of a less pretty or less aggressive looking BB setup for me. So we may or may not be willing to scale in further if that opportunity arises. Right now, we're starting to see buyers come in, but we need to see this travel a bit more. Once again, sellers just put a lid on it. Definitely, overall, oil has been in a downtrend. We don't have much beneath us in the way of levels. So if we do ultimately make our way down, we'll start looking for some shorts. But for now, just kind of got to sit and wait. Trading right around VWAP. No real information to be gathered from that just yet. Seller still showing some aggressiveness here. Really trying to push this down. Big offer just stepped in there. That seemed to have gone away. Big bid. Not sure how valid that actually is, but Well, that bid actually seemed valid there. That 300, almost 300 contract bid. That could certainly help us. Not really much to do here. I am paying very close attention to the potential of closing my trade. I'm not saying that I'm looking to do that just yet, but I am watching for clues to tell me that that should be done. Right now, buyers are holding down here, sellers are holding a few ticks up, so we're kind of in a stalemate. We're using the positive divergence of the BBs and the fact that we're right around overnight low. We're using that as our reasons to be in the trade, and both of which can be valid. But I would like to see these sellers let up a little bit and shift up, even if it's just 6, 7 ticks, and let us start reconsolidating there. I don't like when the consolidation is happening so close to the low of day. We had that quick push down. We did a good job of getting into a second contract on that push down there. That worked out nicely. My first entry wasn't great. I responded to the move down a little late, but that's okay. That's okay. Let's see if we can't make a move towards the high of day here. Let's see if buyers can't step up. Okay. Again, last time we came up here, sellers immediately pushed price down, which is what they're trying to do again. Let's see if we can't get a little bit, just a nice quick spike up here, maybe get us out of this first contract. We have some large offers above us here. Let's see what happens to them. Okay, that's good. Got to within a couple of ticks. Didn't quite get there yet. I think what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take my 5 ticks on one of them. I'm gonna move my stop. I'm gonna leave my stop where it is on the other for now. Another big sell just came in there. I'm gonna close this out here. I might regret that in a minute, but I have a feeling that we'll have a chance to get back into this trade. Oh, it looks like buyers just now started. Not really. Let's see what happens here. We can see the BBs here on the 610 really getting ahead of themselves. So here is if you look at this high to this current swing high, the BBs are really overextended. That's usually a bearish sign. we certainly have had sellers try to hold this. Oh, let's see. Let's see what happens here. Might have closed out my trade a bit early. But I am looking for a short opportunity on a further push up here. Sellers are doing a pretty good job of stopping this move, but buyers, I mean, buyers are absolutely putting in some efforts here. There they go again, adding on to the bid, but sellers push it down right away. I'm going to take a short here. Sellers have held up here nicely. We do have what I was just saying before. We have the BBs have gotten far ahead of themselves here, and that does tend to lead towards a bearish signal. Let's see here what happens. So this is a little bit, just a little bit outside of our normal setup here. And again, just like before, I am going to watch for reasons to close this trade if it looks like my ideology here is wrong. But right now, it does look like sellers are trying to stop this move and ultimately push it back down. Well, certainly sellers have ultimately tried to stop the move. Whether or not they'll try to push it back down is yet to be seen. So just putting my profit target down there by a level that's of interest to me, but I'm very interested in what happens here with this 21 EMA and VWAP below it. I'd like to see offers come down here, and that's not what happened. Bid stepped in. Very slow trading this morning, not just in the sense of the distance, what's it been, 13, 14 some odd ticks. What's the high? 29, low is 13, 16 tick range. It's also just been slow moving. So let's see if we can't get below VWAP. Even in tight ranges, you figure all the algorithms that are out there, and many of them, I believe, are triggered by things like VWAP. It's always of interest to see how price reacts when we get to VWAP, even in a tight range like this. VWAP to me becomes more important when we have a larger move and it's sloping more versus when it's kind of flat like it is right now. But I'm still interested in what happens around it because I'm sure I'm not the only person that pays attention to it. So I want to see how other people react to it. Stalemate right here with the buyers and sellers. Okay, buyers won that one. About 9 minutes till the open of the equities. So still kind of stuck in this consolidation here. Neither side has been able to get outside of this range. Buyers again holding the bottom end of that range. You know, I'd be okay with a little pop, get me into this second position, and then a turn back down. And I can certainly see how that could happen. I mean, shit, anything can happen. I guess that's a. But you know, of one of the patterns that we see is a breakout failure where it would look like we're about to pop out, and then we turn back into the consolidation. Buyers are definitely holding their grounds here, continuously adding contracts to the bid. Every time we push down, sellers were doing the same thing every time we push up. So we're kind of in a 50-50 zone here. We just saw again, sellers add contracts, come in on the offer as price stepped up. And now the assumption is the buyers are going to do the same thing on the bid. Not that that's what I want to have happen. I'd like to see the offers push down and have these bids get wiped out and make a run towards current low. And we see a very clear positive divergence set up off of the current low. So we're going to go grab our profit target, and we are going to move it up some. And again, we're down at the bottom of that consolidation. Let's see if sellers can actually get enough strength to push down through, or if buyers are going to start jumping back in on the bid, start taking offers, and test the other end of this consolidation here. If you watch that yellow number, this 514, you could tell it's slow trading when that number changes very slowly. When you're only seeing a contract or so every few seconds. When you see it speed up, right there, we had a large trade, but unfortunately, that large trade was not in the direction I wanted. But that's what I mean when I talk about slower trading. Like right there, it actually, we had a little spike in volume real quick. Some on the offer, some on the bid. I'd like to see us trade the bid, so have that 395 be happening on the greens to simplify this, and then while that's happening, to have the number of contracts on the bid to decrease and ultimately leave, and then allow the offers to come down and take their place like that. So now again, we want to see that 344 drop down and trade at the bid and get rid of those contracts. Now, the other thing that could happen is while we're trading at the bid or trading at the offer, we could see trades go off, but the number of contracts actually increase. and that's a sign for us as well. That tells us that although we are trying, let's just use the bid as the example, although we are trying to trade the bid and people are hitting the bid, buyers are adding in contracts, which is a sign of strength. Now, again, these are all very microscopic, and to try to watch it every second would absolutely drive you crazy. But right now, we just kind of got to wait and see. The epoch just shifted. Doesn't really tell us much this early in the day. So right there, we saw a bunch of trades happen on the offer. The offer added contracts, but then finally lifted their price. Bids are firming up. We have large size bids below us here. There's an absolute freeze right there, right? You see nobody is doing anything, and then a large trade goes off on the bid. So you see again, one contract, not much. That's 444. Not much is happening. We have about 2 minutes. The equity is open. So you see how slow trades are actually going off. Tough for there to be any real price activity when you have this slow of trading action. There again, just sitting. VWAP has been holding as support. Unfortunately, really nothing for me to tell you here. Bids like we've seen have been holding at the bottom end of this consolidation, but we haven't done enough trading to determine whether or not it's valid. Now there's a fear to that, where if we do come in with a little bit of volume, and that volume happens to be on the buy side, so we're taking offers, that could create a fairly quick spike. On the flip side, same thing can happen on the bid. So again, we are in a bit of a 50-50-ish trade right now, and I am very much considering closing this trade, because it's not something right now that I can say I have a true advantage in. S&P just opened. I got nothing to do up here. I'm waiting for pullbacks. Let's see if we get a spike in activity with the equities open. I really do want to see us break this VWAP though here on oil. And again, bid step up right there. Okay, let's see if we can go test that big bid beneath us. Nope, not yet. Still buyers really holding their ground here, and now we are seeing a little bit of a pickup in speed of the actual trading. I'm gonna close this out here. Take my 6 ticks. I'm not. I mean, we're having trouble getting the 10 ticks in any direction right now. So the reason I closed this trade is we do have positive divergence on all three of the BBs. We're back at overnight low. If we break it and make new lows of day, honestly, not something I could necessarily give you good reason as to why that would happen. That's not to say it can't happen, but for as long as we had to sit in that trade, my entry wasn't great. I am watching here for potential long opportunities. So let's watch the order flow. Let's look for some candlestick setups. Okay, so there's new low day, still positive divergence. So I'm just waiting for a decent candlestick setup. This candle could actually do it. If we can push up a little bit here, still half a candle to go. Buyers have stepped up here. Not not quite there yet, at least not for me. What I'm going to watch for here is a push up, a pullback, and an opportunity to try to go long on that pullback. Okay. Bids are really getting firmed up beneath us. So we've gotten the push up. could have could have been a little more aggressive on my entry, but that's okay. S&P making a run at overnight high. Really nothing for me to do here. I couldn't find. I didn't see anything that would. Uh, I didn't see anything that to me would have been a decent pullback for a long here. All right, so we missed this one here. Although it's hard to say we missed anything. I mean, it's only been 6, 7 ticks up. 6, 7 ticks from where we could even potentially try to get into this trade. Really kind of got to just hang out for a minute here with oil. I am still looking for a long here. Okay, so sellers are pushing down here. Buyers have been holding their ground. Let's see if we get the setup that I'm looking for. And I certainly am looking for one here. So there's going to be an entry right there. A little early in the candle. Might have jumped the gun. The long came off of some order flow. It happened a little quickly, so I wasn't able to talk about it and try to explain it after the fact. Is really not fair to you guys. So what we're looking for now is same thing we looked at our original trade of the day. We're looking at positive divergence off of these lows. Overnight low being a key reference level. Current low of day is also a reference level. Remember, we have what's called static levels. Those are the levels that you see me put in when we do our homework. Those are levels that will not change throughout the day. Things like yesterday's high, yesterday's low, anything referencing yesterday or historical data. Then we have what's called dynamic levels, and those are levels that adjust throughout the day. So the current low of day, that level can change and will change several times throughout a day of trading. Middle of the day, high of the day, things like that. VWAP, moving averages, those are all dynamic levels. And right now we have our overnight low and the current low are as two levels of potential support that we're looking to latch onto here. S&P has come down. I'd like to see the S&P come down further, preferably without taking oil with it. Really would like to see if we can get a decent long setup somewhere down here. And like the other trades earlier in oil, I will be watching and will be willing to close this trade short of my 10-tick profit target if need be. Okay, let's see. There we go. We got into our second contract here. So I have my third scale out, and for now, I'll tell you, I'm not actually all that crazy about that one. So we see from this low to this current low, we have zero positive divergence. I'm gonna pull that out. Don't like how this is turning right now. Not what I was looking for. I'll take my scale here, just because it's a low risk to reward. It's only going to be a 3 or 4 tick stop with a good opportunity to average our price and take our third position. I'm not crazy about this price action here. the way we came through. This is not. I don't have high hopes for this trade turning and getting into my favor. Okay. So here we really can't look for longs because we've lost our positive divergence. I'm more interested in a long in the S&P than I would be in oil, only because we don't have levels yet to be able to support us. We'd have to make a further move down in oil, or we'd have to see a very clear setup off of the current low of the day, again using that dynamic level. So remember the S&P, the all-time high right now has happened in the overnight session a couple of nights ago. And the expectation is that we will try to break that fairly shortly after, not to say within a day or two, but so the fact that we're so close to all-time high, in fact, today is all-time high in the regular trading session here. I'm just looking for long opportunities in the S&P. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit further, or again, like I just said with oil, if we're going to get a decent setup off of the current low, but really would like to see something set up for a long opportunity in the S&P. Oil continuing to push lower, getting down towards an area that we might want to start watching for a long. But right now, really what I'd like to see are some pullbacks to give us an opportunity to go short. We had the one here, I just didn't have it planned for, pull back into this consolidation. I didn't really see that as it was happening. I was more interested in the idea of getting along from down here, which, I can't say I missed because my real trade opportunity would have been around here at this 18. Not really giving us about an 8 tick, giving us 8 tick move up, but I was not watching for this short opportunity into the consolidation. That actually is a decent potential short. Now, again, to say that even if I was watching it, to say that I would have been able to pull the trigger quickly enough, that I can't say for sure. But so what we're looking at here now is we do have these levels beneath us that could act as support. We certainly have downward strength. So I would like a push back up, preferably towards middle of day into this swing low and this swing low down here, that's 46.12. I'd like a push back up somewhere in that area, maybe even a little higher, closer to VWAP, but VWAP can catch up a little bit as we continue to trade here, because VWAP is going to slope down since our last few candles have been, this whole stretch has been downward trading. This move up could stop here at these micro triple tops or this micro double top here, you could see that be the resistance for this move, and even that is enough to get into the short with other, with order flow kind of dictating, or maybe a candle setup or something along those lines. But I'd like to see this move come up a little bit more. Very thick offers, everything over 100 contracts on the offer. This is what it looked like a while ago, if you guys remember. And that usually tends to come when there's a little bit, lack of volatility. So today, as tighter range we had, although we busted out of that. I mean, this is we now have a nice range for the morning: 46.29, 45.95. That's a decent range right there. Let's see what the S&P does. We got a big offer here on oil. Never mind. So this would be a very aggressive short here. The pullback of just about 10, 11 ticks near this micro triple top. But sellers definitely, order flow definitely does show sellers stepping in here. So this would be an aggressive short. Seller stepped in again right there. Very, very tempting here. Very tempting. Sellers just stepped in one more time. I mean, buyers are obviously keeping it up at the upper end of this consolidation. Candlesticks definitely do not offer anything to say to go short here. Buyers push one more time, try to test this upper end of the consolidation here. There they go. So that top there held 21 EMA and this micro double top here. This top end of these wicks, that's held so far. Buyers making another push at it here. Excuse me. Not much to do here yet. Excuse me. I thought we might see a bearish candle forming here. But as we're getting closer to the close of the candle, we see buyers stepped in, pushed it back up towards the upper end. So really it turned into a bullish candle. That's why we try to wait. You remember earlier I got into a trade and I had mentioned a little early in the candle. S&P also doing nothing. Oil certainly has had more action this morning than the S&P. Second candle in a row that we saw push down early in the candle, and as of right now, as we get further into the candle, we're trading closer to the upper end, although now we're kind of right in the middle. We're seeing buyers step in as candles open and push down. We're seeing buyers step in pretty quickly. So there again, the immediate push down at the open of a candle. Not that I think that the timing has anything to do with the candles. This is just a representation of it. Let's see if buyers step in and push it back up. Again, this time they are not so far. We do have positive divergence across the bottom. At least it looks like we would. Wouldn't be able to say that for sure until the candles actually get there. I'm going to look for a push up here for a short opportunity. It did not get it. So we do have positive divergence down here off of this double bottom. It's within a tick of being an exact double bottom. So we have positive divergence on 2 out of the 3. 2 of the 3 BBs here. Sellers look like they're still going to try to push down to test this low one more time. Let's see if that actually happens. Okay, buyers firm up a little. Missed that one. Actually, it looks like price is going to want to continue to push up here. Now it's a question of order flow. Right, so again, we're trying to combine what we see at the BBs, what we see in the price action, and then what we see in order flow. So we would need to see sellers start lifting their offer, buyers step in and start pushing price higher. So at this point, although I do think we are getting into a decent trade area, at this point I do have to run. As always, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a great day.